Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're back. I feel like a DJ when I do that. A Million Voices podcast, episode 4. Before I introduce today's guest, you already know the vibes. Fit check. My headphones are falling off. TFC, Insigne, welcome to Toronto. Great game Sunday. I hope everybody watched. Great first half, not so great second half. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. The shirt, Tofino. I don't know if you noticed. If you didn't notice, don't tell me. If you noticed, you missed me. I was gone for a week, and it's because we just took a trip to British Columbia. We'll talk a little bit about it before the pod gets going. And my pants, you can't see them. Boho pants, Kensington Market. You know where to go. Kensington, sponsor me. Watch the pod. Subscribe, like, save, comment, share. You already know.
So the area is going to sponsor you. The whole area.
I think so. Is that a thing? Is that allowed?
I don't think so.
Oh.
It's okay.
That's awkward.
Fine. It's fine.
Oh,
I'll sponsor you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Today's guest is someone that I go to for everything and anything. Jokes, cries, laughs, fucking hugs, swims, anything. I go to Ju. Anyways, this is Julia, my best friend. The reason I dragged Ju on the podcast was because I've witnessed her grow a lot since we first met, which was in high school, grade 9, one of the first days of grade 9. Yeah, literally. So I know she has a lot of good insight on just, I guess, growing as you and going through that process basically. And I want you guys to hear that as well. Also, I will say we were two very different people when we first met and when the friendship began. Yeah,
both of us.
Literally. So very different. So it's crazy to see we're sitting here today 9 years later, 5 trips in. So anyways, it'll be a good one. So keep watching. That's all I could say. Hype. Straight hype. But let's talk about BC. Let's tell them a little bit. So do you want to start? What brings you back to the West Coast? What's your favorite?
Sure. So I think for me, what brings me back to the West Coast every time is the energy there, the way that it feels and the way that you feel when you're seeing all of these magnificent things. The mountains are huge and they just continue and continue and continue. And it kind of is a place that lets all your problems fall away. Although that sounds kind of cliche, it really does. It's a new lifestyle. It's a new mindset. The ocean, everything about it is kind of what brings me back there. I just like that relaxed lifestyle where you're enjoying nature and it doesn't feel like you're in the city. I think we all sometimes need a break from that and all the craziness.
I agree 100%. And the first time we went to the West Coast was 2019, I think. And we went to Banff and it was spontaneous. We had just did Barbados that year and it was just a very, I guess, want to say last minute thing.
Super last minute.
And I find a question we get often because then we went back to Banff last year. We did a part of BC, which was Kelowna, which is more wine country. And then this year we did just BC. We did Vancouver City, Whistler, and Tofino, which is on Victoria Island.
No, Vancouver Island, but it's okay.
Okay, I tried. I really tried.
I'm not even that good at geography either. It's
I tried. We met in geography, just saying.
And that's why neither of us are good at geography.
Straight up. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So a question that I know I get often, I bet you do too, is why go back to the West Coast when you could take a trip? Yeah, pretty much. Outside of, I want to say, restrictions because of COVID and stuff, we did our first 2019 trip before there was any restrictions or anything like that. And instantly we both knew we're going back again. Yeah. The West Coast, as Ju was saying, kind of just brings this freeing vibe and something that, I don't know, it provides you with something that you kind of forget about all your problems. Yeah. And I tell people a legit thing is the air there. I remember getting off the plane coming back to Toronto, I was coughing. The air is something else. It's something you can't explain. For me as a photographer, I was in heaven. Everything just looks like a green screen. I would definitely, no one paid us to say this, but I would definitely recommend getting out there if you live in Canada. Or if you don't. Yeah. But it is cool and to think it is in our own country.
Yeah, it is. I feel like it's something that we kind of look past a lot of the times, but once you actually get there and you witness it for yourself, it's incredible.
Yeah, even this trip we went surfing. Surfing something I've dreamt of since I was a kid, and to know I could do it in Canada, I always thought I could go to Hawaii or California, and we killed it.
Yeah, we did. New hobby.
New hobby for sure. So yeah, that's definitely something cool too,
Yeah, for sure. I loved it.
Yeah, vibes. Outside of that, we just went to Barbados twice.
Yeah.
Another spot though, hit it up.
Yeah, another great spot.
Yep.
One of our favorites on the Caribbean.
Literally. And we toured that place inside and out like we were locals. I can tell you that much. So another experience. But I will say one thing, that because I was saying how much like we've changed since high school. If you told, I don't know about you, but like if someone said like you two go on a trip when we were in grade 9, I feel like it would be very different.
Yeah, for sure. Even like the places that we would go would be different too.
Yeah. I feel like we've grown a lot since then. And like, let's kind of just get into, I guess, growth and like your journey with it. I'll even say like my journey with it as well. But for you, like, what would you say, how did your journey kind of start? Like, what would you kind of attribute your growth to? What was that trigger for you?
Well, I would say like, I guess the life that I was living wasn't fulfilling me. You know, I was in high school, maybe, I think it was grade 11 when things really started to change for me and I started to look at the world differently. But I realized like I wasn't happy with the way that I felt about myself, the way I felt about the world around me. And I was very closed off at the time. Closed off because I had been hurt, closed off because I had gone through a lot of stuff, closed off because I felt judged and like really misunderstood by people around me a lot of the time. And it took me kind of realizing and reflecting on myself and saying, you know what, I'm not feeling good about this. I need to do something differently, you know? And over the years, I went to a bunch of like different healers and different people who gave me a bunch of great advice. But the biggest thing for me, I think, would be when I met Andre, which is my acupuncturist. And I actually work with him. He's one of our business partners. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But
Andre's a real one, by the way. Shout out to Dre. Shout out to Dre.
He is. And he's the person that kind of reintroduced me to energy healing and the importance of it and what can change in your life once you start to take control of it, really. Not in the sense where we're trying to force things, but in the sense where it's like we are responsible for how our lives go. We're responsible of how we feel, you know, and we can change certain things about ourselves that will change our reality, right? So I think that's where it started for me. I had always been familiar with energy healing and stuff just from my mom when I was younger, but I never took it seriously. I didn't take many things seriously, really, up until I met Andre and I started doing acupuncture treatments, and he was teaching me a bunch of valuable lessons that were, when I applied them, were really, really, changing my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that was probably the biggest thing for me.
And I feel like, well, Andre's also the acupuncturist I mentioned in the last pod, where like he taught me about like chakras and everything. And I can definitely attest to that, where it's like, after I started like getting my first few treatments, it was the same thing. Like he would just say things to you and it just made sense. And it makes you realize like you're not stuck in this like image you think of yourself or what others think of you. Yeah, it's very eye-opening, I could say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like it was me, because when I first went there, to be honest, I was dragged there by my mom, who was like, I found this amazing person. But I didn't think anything of it because I had honestly gone to so many different people, especially in the Western medicine type of, like, I guess. World. Yeah, exactly. And they weren't helping. Like, I don't know about you.
No, it's the same.
I feel like the vibe there is just, you know, hey, you have this problem. I'm going to diagnose you with this. You now are labeled as this, and you have to take this in order to be better, you know? Or I just felt like they weren't really giving me a solution.
It was more of like a, what's that word? When you're covering up. It's like when you take Advil. Like it's,
exactly. Like it's just a quick fix.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. So I was looking for something that was more than a quick fix. I was looking for a lifestyle change. And that's kind of what I found in the world of acupuncture and Eastern medicine, you know, and then the whole idea of spirituality comes into that too. They're all kind of related. And I think that's the biggest thing.
And like Ju's someone that introduced me to spirituality, like outside of Andre as well. You brought Andre up to me. I remember I would like come to your house and like you and your mom would just say like, you know, you got to give it a shot. I was kind of the same way. I was like closed off.
Yeah.
But then once you get your first treatment, it's not just acupuncture.
Yeah,
you know?
you realize that energy is real. I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
you know? Like
you could feel it.
Yeah,
like, it's
you can
crazy.
hear about energy, you can learn about energy, and it's all very, very good information. But at the same time, it's so different once you feel it. Because I was the type of person that thought that was maybe not 100% true or couldn't 100% help me. Yeah. But once you're able to feel the difference, it's no longer made up, and it's now something that's internalized within you. So that's kind of what I've been up to these days, is doing a lot of spiritual work, inner work, learning a lot about energy, the energy centers. How do we keep ourselves healthy, and truly healthy, not just on the surface? It's a lot more than what we eat and what we drink. It's also what we think. The unseen things are also very, very important.
Would you say that, like, obviously we know Andre helped, and like the acupuncture and the spirituality all kind of helped with like your growth as a person, but would you say like the biggest thing that had to change was within you and like your mindset?
Always. And that's just the thing. Like, Andre is incredible, but he always says it's you healing you. And that's something that I truly believe. We all have the power to heal ourselves. We all have the power to feel good. It's just putting ourselves in an environment where we can. And that environment also relates to our mind space. What are you saying to yourself every day? What are you saying about the world around you to yourself? That's the stuff that we really need to change. That's where it all starts.
And I feel like also getting into certain habits, like I can say like you're someone that, you clear your energy and like you do things to really make sure you're operating at your prime and not, I guess like if for someone that doesn't understand, they won't get if I say like carrying other people's energy on you, right? Yeah. It's true. But like you learn to understand that that's a thing.
Yeah, of course it's a thing. I think the biggest way to kind of relate that whole idea is if you think of trees in a forest, when they need nutrients, when they need things, the other trees will kind of pass them along through their roots. Yeah. They'll share nutrients, they'll share energy, and in the same way, we are like trees. Yeah. We have our own roots that are going out. They may be taking some energy from people, picking up some energy from other people, because that's the type of people that we are. We connect with someone, we care about someone, and yes, that is so important. But at the same time, we have to make sure that us connecting and caring for somebody doesn't end up leaving us depleted in any way, right? That's something that's important in order for us to feel healthy and feel fulfilled,
That's huge. That's just facts.
And you hear I don't know what else to say,
but that's facts.
Even on social media, there's all these talks about like, oh, if your energy feels drained after you're with somebody, blah, 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 blah. It's not always a problem with the other person. That other person just may not have as much energy as you do. And like energy moves from high to low, right? Yeah. So if you have a little bit more energy than someone going in, they might take a little bit and that's okay. But it's making sure that you can replenish yourself afterwards. Yeah. Being able to function in everyday society, not feel depleted, not feel drained, have the energy that you need, to handle situations, because not all of them are great, right?
Yeah, it's true. And especially like Alessia and I touched on this too, like nowadays everything's moving so fast. Like no one really takes the time to like care for their energy or take time for themselves, and it's so crucial and so important.
We put ourselves on the back burner
all the time. And it's like at least the country that we live in, because like you hear island time, or if you go to the Caribbean or Europe, everyone's more relaxed and chill. Here it's like go, 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 go. And if you're not taking care of your energy, like that's harmful to yourself, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also becomes harmful to like our self-worth and our motivation to do things. It all comes from feeling good within ourselves, and like feeling good about what we're putting out, feeling good about how we're living our life, feeling purposed, And I think that part of the reason why in our society people are so upset all the time is because they are disconnected from that part of them that wants to do certain things, their soul, essentially, because our soul has different needs than our mind has. And if you're only listening to your mind's needs all the time, your soul is on the back burner. You'll start to feel that drag. There's that phrase that says, if you're depressed, sometimes what you need is deep rest, or you're depressed because you're putting on a persona of somebody that you're not. And obviously I'm not saying that's the only reason for that, of course, but sometimes that is what it is. And it can be as simple as looking within ourselves and seeing, hey, where is it that I'm missing something? And I can bring that to the table myself. We need to stop looking like externally.
It's true. And I feel like that's also an important message to like tie back to like high school and being different people. Like anyone, even now, if you're watching and you're in high school and you feel like you're kind of stuck because of this image that people have caused you to like feel, right? Or like judging you or like holding you to a certain standard or stereotype, like you can break from that. That's not you, right?
100%. And that's something that I actually struggled with a lot growing up. And even in high school, I felt like I had a lot of judgments made towards me, opinions, assumptions, rumors, all those things. And they start to affect a person, like you can be tough, but after a certain amount of time, when you're hearing the same thing over and over again, it'll start to affect you, and that's something actually maybe that I'll touch on a little bit, is the whole idea of like thoughts about other people. They are things.
Yeah.
Thoughts are things,
Legit.
you know?
Like,
so
literally.
it's not, if you have a negative thought about somebody, that negative thought will actually end up in that person's energetic field. And if their energetic field is low and there's a breach and they're not doing well at the time, they're not strong, they don't have their energy sorted out, they'll pick up on that thought, because we're all psychic beings, whether you want to accept it about yourself or not.
Yeah.
You'll pick up on that in some sort of way. And sometimes the worst part is that the person will pick up on it, but they'll think it's their own thought.
And that's the issue.
Yeah. So they'll internalize it as, oh, I'm this, you know, and it's just because they've heard that floating around in their energy field from someone else who said it. So I always encourage people to not think negative things about somebody else, because you don't realize what you're actually doing. And I realized what it was doing to me, you know, like I really, really got shut down. It put me into hermit mode. It made me not want to be myself anymore, because I was like, okay, well, what's the point in being myself if everybody around me is going to tell me who I am?
Yeah.
So I just started becoming who they said I was, you know, and that wasn't something that I was proud of. And that was something that didn't give me fulfillment. And I felt miserable, if I'm being completely honest. And that's why when I learned about energy healing and it started getting revealed to me, things started to make sense. And I said, you know, I've picked up a lot of this negative stuff from the world around me. Yes, of course, there's things I could have done better. 150%.
Everyone
had I known about energy and all of this, I probably would have done better, you know? And I think that that's what I want for people. I want people to feel, excuse me, whenever I get serious, I get choked up, but okay. I want people to feel better, you know?
And I think that's also, that goes into like your business.
Yeah.
It's like you giving back in a way too, right? And what you discovered. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I opened up a small business a couple months ago. It's still relatively small, but it is like really important to me, because I think the reason why it was started is because I think people need more opportunities for healing.
Agreed. And proper healing.
Yeah. Not just healing that's going to just scrape the surface. Like, no, we need to get deep. We need to figure things out. And I know the benefits that it's had for me. I know the benefits that it's had for my family. So with my business, Cosmic Healing Arts is the name. We're a wellness center that does acupuncture, registered massage therapy, Reiki, energy healing, a variety of treatments, honestly. And they're all meant to realign your body, mind, and soul. Because when we realign our body, mind, and soul, we're creating that environment for healing within us. That's always there, but we have to nourish it. And when we do nourish that, your body will heal itself. You know, if you're doing too much, if your body is too toxic, how is it going to heal itself? You know, if your energy. So when people talk about energy, it's like, okay, well, what is it? Well, we have electrical currents running within our body. They've proven this in science. You know, science and spirituality are actually more connected than most people think. They've proven that our body produces an electrical current and energy in the cells and all of that. Those types of things can get blocked. Those energetic currents can get blocked. And when they're blocked, illness can come about. Negative emotions can come about, and they'll stay within the body. So it's about keeping those channels clear, keeping all of that clear. That is what will allow our bodies to heal itself, because it knows what to do already.
And then I feel like once that happens, you're operating at a whole other level.
Of course.
And you'll feel it. Like once you do like some of these treatments for the first time, you feel like you were just reborn. Yeah. Like a whole new person, because you don't realize like you actually carry a lot of baggage with you from the moment you're born. Yeah. Whether it's like how you're raised or who you surround yourself with or what you watch or what you listen to, what you eat. Like all of that kind of just piles with you. Yeah. And when you actually do something that cleanses you, you feel light. Like feel like a feather almost. You feel light. And happy. You're just smiling for no reason.
It's so true. Like I've heard so many people be like, oh my gosh, I feel like me again. Yeah. And it's like, well, of course, because we're carrying so many things, you know, societal perspectives, like celebrity, whatever they try and influence on us.
And with social media now.
Yeah, everything, you know, we're being bombarded. So when you're in a society where you're being bombarded, you got to take, what's the word? Like caution, protection. Yeah, caution. Like we got to protect ourselves out here.
Literally.
And I think in doing that, you know, it's not like we're protecting ourselves, stay away from me, like you people are bad. No.
We still go out all the time.
It's never like that. It's always just about being able to protect your energy so that you can leave the experience still feeling good.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's also realizing like the things that we consume every day, not just things you hear, but even like stuff like what you eat, or like Advil, Tylenol, like all those things,
chemicals.
alcohol,
Chemicals,
it's chemicals.
yeah.
Like my eyes were really open to that. Cause like I used to take Advil all the time.
Me
And
too.
it's like, obviously teach his own. Like I'm not saying don't take it, but it is chemicals for you. Like it actually doesn't do you well. Anything, it just suppresses what you're feeling and it'll come back. It doesn't heal you at all.
True.
Like I can say for the last 5 years since seeing Andre, when I don't feel well, I go for acupuncture. I haven't seen my doctor. I don't take Advil or Tylenol. I go because I realize my body will heal. Fever, anything, even in my worst. I had COVID really badly, and like right away I went to acupuncture. I didn't take anything.
Well, when you got better.
But it's like, no, but it's like,
but yeah,
it's
no,
true.
100%.
Like your body can fight it. And I feel like if my body hadn't become so strong, I wouldn't have been able to fight it and then get treated, you know?
For sure, because when you have that life force energy flowing properly within your body, it will do its own thing, you know? And obviously there are things that you'll need Western medicine for, like, you know.
Or like, like for instance, I had passed a kidney stone the other day. I was in the hospital. I'm not saying like, don't go to the hospital.
Exactly,
like,
of course.
Don't get me wrong.
Of course, but it's all like, I feel like the little things, you know? A lot of like the, a lot of
like a headache
stuff,
or like
a headache,
you fall,
a shoulder ache, things like that. Those are things that can be dealt with in Eastern medicine, and very, very well, actually, too, you know?
100%.
And like you said, it avoids you having to go through the whole path of chemicals, right? Because that's something that we're also bombarded with in this society. And I think that it's important that everybody takes a look at, you know, what am I putting on my skin?
Yeah.
What am I putting in my mouth? What am I putting, what's happening around me? But still, most importantly, it's what's going on inside my mind. Yeah. Because everything that's happening here has already happened in the mind. Yeah. You know? So if we can control that, then we can prevent a lot of things, you know? It's true. I think the most important thing is like that we don't, like I heard a saying once, it was like, you can tell the doctor that you appreciate their diagnosis, but you don't accept like their verdict. Yeah. You know, you don't have to accept that because you are sick right now, you're going to be sick forever. Yeah. You know, you can say, I'm currently dealing with this illness instead of I'm sick, you know, and even there, you've taken back your power. Yeah. You've taken back a part of you that is really important. It's true. You know,
it's a mind game. I always say it, even with like injuries and stuff. When I get injured, I could have accepted that I was injured, or it's like, no, I'm going to heal. I'm going to get better. Exactly. It's hard. It's very hard. Of course. Like, especially there's very serious situations, but it is still, as strong as your mind is how fast you'll heal.
And I think, you know, of course there are very serious situations and they will throw us for a loop, but I think it's our mindset and being so, like practicing that mindset that helps you in those harder moments. You know, you might not get hit as hard as you would have had you not done anything in your inner work, you know? So that's what it's kind of for. It's a helping hand, you know, like this life is hard enough. Like we need to find ways to make ourselves feel better and do better, you know?
Without having to take a trip.
Yeah, exactly. Being happy in our everyday lives, for sure.
Straight up. Okay, well, I could say is we are running out of time. Because time flies when you're having fun. It does. Anyways, I do want to say though, thank you for coming on and like enlightening everyone on all that. But I will say, check out Cosmic Healing Arts. It's worth it. I'm not just saying it 'cause she's my best friend. I'm being serious. Like, check it out. Like Kensington Market. But I hope you guys like what you heard today. Before we go though, my famous question at the end. Sure. What's one thing you would tell your younger self?
I think one thing I would tell my younger self is probably that you can rewrite yourself at any point of your life. If you're not feeling good about yourself, if you're not feeling good about some aspect of your life, your career, your friends, your relationship, whatever it is, you have the power within you to change that. And it all starts with the choice, right? So that's my lesson to my younger self. And I would also add not to judge people and that thoughts are things. Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
For real.
So mic drop. We're going to end it there, but thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, save, comment. I still haven't learned them all. Show some love. Also feedback. I appreciate feedback all the time. Yes. We open to it. Yeah. See? Anyway, so the next time Drew comes on, she'll be hosting me.
Oh, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. If you guys want that, let me know. Let me know.
Get me on here as a host.
Yeah, we'll switch seats. Anyways, guys, thank you for the love. Thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And I will definitely have you back in the future.
Awesome.
Ciao for now.
Bye.